Alright everyone, it's time for another Sticks Predict style video here talking about the debates, which may or may not be for the 2020 election. I give it a 90% chance that the Democrats are going to do one of two things. They're either going to take it to the public and try to convince them that there shouldn't be a debate, because, well, Trump needs to do his job, people are dying, you want to kill grandma. They'll try to make the argument that there shouldn't be debates, that the candidates shouldn't involve themselves in such a thing during a national crisis or whatever. Or they're going to push for digital-only debates. That is, they don't want Trump and Biden up on the same stage being televised. What they want is Biden in his home office so that he can have notes, so he can have a script, so that he can get the questions in advance, and they'll prompt him. He'll have staff and people there for support, and it'll be a love fest to keep Biden on cue, because you know what'll happen. If Joe Biden and Donald Trump get on an actual stage together, the optics are terrible for Biden. He's not as well-spoken as Trump. Now, but Biden's core fans will pretend that Trump goes off the rails all of the time. Yeah, not in the same way as Joe, who forgets what he's saying constantly and is clearly demented. When you see Trump and Biden next to each other, even if you just take speeches from them and oppose them, have a split screen or something, there's a big difference between the two. They don't want Biden to have to debate Trump at all. But at a bare minimum, I'm pretty sure they're going to move for a digital debate now. This may or may not happen. Just because the Democrats want to shield Biden from public exposure and from Trump destroying him doesn't mean they necessarily get their way, because what could happen is they make the suggestion and the public balks at it and says, no, well, we've always had these debates before, even going back, more beyond television. You have radio debates. Beyond that, you have live oratory where they're literally debating each other up on a stage in front of a live audience, like fucking Abe Lincoln style. That's been going on the whole time within U.S. politics. It would be unprecedented to have no debates. Digital only is more likely. That is, the highest likelihood, if the Democrats get their way at all, is that they'll try for a digital debate situation where Biden can be comfy, he can be on political life support, so to speak, and he can have his wife and his staff and stuff cheering for him and nodding in approval and doing jazz hands and stupid shit like that. And I guarantee that they'll cheat. What'll happen is that they'll get the questions in advance. Biden will be given notes. He will be given prompts. You won't see it because the camera will only be pointed at him. That's what'll happen. They will cheat at the debates if it's allowed to be digital only. That's why the Republicans are nuts if they let that skate. At the very least, they should raise one legendary hell of a stink about it if that's even suggested. And they should get all of their constituents as riled up as possible if the suggestion is made. You already see the suggestion being made among some of Biden's fans. They're trying to lay the groundwork. They're trying to astroturf this. That's why I think that they'll make that pitch. Now then, again, if that happens, it's the responsibility of every red-blooded American to balk and to make it known that that's unacceptable. We have the right, fundamentally, to see these candidates up on a real stage. The fact that some Karens are paranoid about sickness doesn't really matter. You've got three people that need to be there. Trump and Biden, who can socially distance. Those podiums don't need to be right next to each other. And a moderator who's fucking 20 feet away. That's all you need. You don't need a studio audience. You don't need, all sorts of people there. Although I guarantee Trump would like to have a few people there. He'd love to have Tara Reid in the crowd. He'd love to have Biden's accusers in the crowd. And maybe some other carefully chosen people. Remember when Bill Clinton had to look over and see Juanita Broderick? That was a funny time. That legendary look on his face was hysterical. Why do you think that they took Bill largely off the campaign trail? Trump destroyed Bill Clinton. People don't realize just how much finesse was there. He crushed Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton fell like 12 ranks in political greatness scales. He was in the top quarter. Now he's close to the bottom half, simply because Trump knocked him out of existence by raising the specter of his sexual improprieties. And it was really, really funny how the Democrats just threw him away like trash after he was the liberal whiz kid for 20 years. Now, of course, Obama's sort of the Bill Clinton replacement. He goes up and Bill Clinton disappears. Largely, Hillary kept him off the campaign trail thereafter. It was very funny. Anyway, I think that the Democrats, at the very least, are going to try to suspend the debates or make them digital only. Again, the latter is more likely. They may or may not get their way, though. I can't predict whether the public will actually swallow the poison, which is the degradation of our political system into something that's no longer particularly user-friendly. Because what the Democrats want is a non-debate at the very least, where Biden can cheat and where he can, and these cats are attempting to hit one another. Stop that, you two. They're debating at the moment. They're debating over who should sit in the sunny spot in the window, by the way. They're going to try to allow Biden to cheat. They're going to try to give him notes. They're going to try to have him teleprompted literally during the debate. We already had a situation in the last election where questions were given to Hillary Clinton's campaign through the DNC improperly. This happened at the second debate, I believe it was, with, if I remember correctly, MSNBC. They gave some of the questions to the Hillary camp before the debate. This should have been a massive political scandal. Instead, it was hushed up. It was brushed under the rug because, of course, the legacy media doesn't like to report on its own improprieties. I guarantee the same thing will happen here if a digital debate happens, and they might move to suspend them altogether. They might say, well, there's too much going on right now. We got a national emergency, so we can't have a debate. Now's not the time. It's like they don't want in-person voting. They want it to be all mail and digital at this point. They're trying to they're literally trying to use something that for most people isn't really that much worse than the standard flu to try to completely overhaul the U.S. political system in their favor. It's a pig in a poke. It's snake oil. It's bullshit. They're trying to take advantage of the public's fear to try to usurp the political process because they know that in a standard election, with Biden and Trump on stage, normal voting and everything else taken care of, Trump wins. He gets a second term. That's a guarantee. If things begin to improve, let's say there's no second wave of corona or a very mild one, starts to go away out of the public's consciousness, the economy starts to repair, things get back to normal, Trump forces them to let him debate Biden live on stage, Trump wins re-election handily. Their only chance is to try to keep the economy crippled by extending lockdowns and try to usurp the political system so that they can do vote harvesting and protect Joe Biden from any exposure to Trump on a live stage. They don't want, at no point in the candidacy, the campaign, do they want Biden and Trump next to each other. That's essentially their goal. That's about all. Peace out.